You come in this place and it's like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, when you turn the lights on with a clunk and then the lights warm up and gradually everything looms up out of the darkness.
I knew the collections would be big. I had no inkling of physically how big. I don't think the general public have that sense of what sits behind the scenes.
Not everything that's in storage is ever going to go on exhibit or on loan. A lot of it's not exhibitable, but it is interesting for people doing research.
We depend very heavily on physical examination of the object because often the documentation doesn't tell the whole story. We're interested in these objects at a level where you're looking at a lot of detail.
You can see a photograph, but it gives you not necessarily a true idea of things like colour and shape and weight and mass.
My interest is not what it is, but what it's made of. In that case, I not only want to see it, but I want to take pieces off it to measure and analyse.
I'd like to know about the person that made it and the tools they used to make it. Take a piece of an engine. It potentially started as a casting, but seeing it in the flesh, you get an idea of the tools that we used to create it. But then the tools are the tip of the iceberg.
Getting the right people in front of the objects that you want answers about is kind of invaluable. There's something very special about having the insight of an expert on site with the objects and the curator and that kind of triangulation that happens.
When you have someone who's done that sort of work, researching on our collections, they bring in a lot of in-depth knowledge which won't necessarily be held by the museum already.
Where things have connections, it's useful to maintain that. With the larger objects, the chances are the things will be in many pieces. They may be in crates. Crates may not all be in the same place.
And when you're dealing with this sort of object, it's not just a case of putting your gloves on and looking at it, but you're dealing with lifting gear, forklift trucks.
I think it's very important that the results of a piece of research should be incorporated in museums' records.
Highlighting the fact that there is digital access to it. I've discussed collections with friends connected in that field, and the bulk of them had no idea that the collections were even accessible online.
Because the database is so huge, I'm going to put in keywords. And because I put in keywords, I'm not going to find anything that doesn't happen to have that keyword in. Whereas when I wander around the stores, I'll just trip over stuff. One of the great joys of browsing around the stores with me is literally just browsing and tripping over stuff you wouldn't expect to find.